The NFL has given us so many great and legendary receivers: Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, T.O., Megatron, Larry Fitzgerald, Michael Irvin, and Chris Carter, and so many others. My question is, what is the greatest receiver era we've ever seen? What decade had the best group of receivers at one time? For me, there's no debate. The one era that stands out, that's the 2000s. The 2000s receiver era in the NFL was a golden age for receivers, a time when dominant personalities, flashy celebrations, and big time stats took center stage. It was the era of elite playmakers, deep ball threats, and iconic moments. Here's the legendary lineup of the 2000s receivers. Starting off, we got Randy Moss, the freak, the most talented receiver of all time, the ultimate deep threat. His speed, hands, and swag were unmatched. You Got Mossed became part of football culture. Randy's 2007 year was one of the best receiver years of all time. 98 catches, 1,500 yards, 23 touchdowns. He was the whole package, everything you want from a receiver. Randy ended the decade with 777 catches, 1,739 yards, and 120 touchdowns in this decade. Next, we got Terrell Owens, a freak athlete with size and speed, never shy about celebrating or causing drama. Hall of Fame numbers, Hall of Fame personality, T.O. showed out in this decade. 11,600 yards, 784 catches, and 114 touchdowns. With the Eagles, he played on a broken leg, a fractured fibula, in the Super Bowl, and went off for 9 catches for 122 yards. Bill Belichick said it was one of the greatest performances he's ever seen. That's the highest praise you could get. Marvin Harrison, quiet killer, perfect route running machine, paired with Peyton Manning, consistent, elite, and unstoppable. Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning was one of the greatest duos the NFL has ever seen. They hold the NFL record for most receiving touchdowns between a quarterback and receiver. 112. Marvin Harrison had 10,000 yards, 791 catches, and 114 touchdowns. 2-time first team All-Pro, and 5 times for second team Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison. Torrey Holt. Torrey was that dude in the 2000s. Most receiving yards out of anyone this decade. 12,500 yards, 868 catches, and 68 touchdowns. He was a key piece for the great show on turf with the Rams. From 2000 to 2005, Torrey had 6 straight seasons with 1,300 yards. It is ridiculous that Torrey Holt isn't in the Hall of Fame, with him having the best numbers from a receiver in the best era. All 2000s decade team, Torrey Holt. Next we got Larry Fitzgerald, Larry the Legend, greatest hands that NFL has ever seen. One of the most craziest stat lines you'll ever see is Larry had 29 drops in his 17-year career. He had more tackles than drops. He had 41 tackles. Larry's 2008 playoff run was legendary. Played in 4 games, had 30 catches, 500 yards, and 7 touchdowns. In the Super Bowl, he had 7 catches, 127 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He would have been Super Bowl MVP. Second all-time in yards and catches, and he went a good stretch with awful quarterback play. It just makes you wonder, could he have broke Jerry Rice's records? Fitz was a legend. Other great receivers during this era: Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, one of the most entertaining football players of all time. The touchdown celebrations, the mic'd up clips.
You take anything for the game?
Yeah. Viagra.
The trash talking. Ocho Cinco is a legend and put numbers up in this era. 9,950 yards, over 600 catches, and 62 touchdowns. Reggie Wayne got drafted in 2001 and became the perfect receiver too, till Marvin Harrison retired. Reggie Wayne was smooth, reliable, and clutch. Reggie finished 9th in the decade in yards, 7th in touchdowns, and 9th in receptions. Top 10 in all three categories. 4 Pro Bowls in the decade, and a Super Bowl champion, Reggie Wayne. Steve Smith played so much bigger than his size, huge in the heart, and just had that dog in him. Fiery and fearless. And came out with the iconic phrase,
I don't know, you gonna ask him, because he done finished the game. Ice up, son.
After his matchup with Aqib Talib. Came in the league in 2001. In his 3rd year, he figured it out. 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. Steve had a 4-year stretch of 1,000 yards. One of the greatest shorter receivers ever, Steve Smith. Next, we got the quiet beast, Andre Johnson. Physical, polished route runner with elite hands and toughness. He didn't talk much. He let his play do the talking, and it was loud. Came in the league in 2003, finished 15th in yards with a little under 8,542 touchdowns. Had back-to-back 1,500 yards in 08 and 09. Never had the greatest quarterback with him either. 4-time All-Pro and Hall of Famer, Andre Johnson. Last but not least, Calvin Johnson. Came in the league with one of the coolest nicknames of all time. And yes, I might be a little biased because I love Transformers. But Calvin looks like he was built out of a lab. They're just straight up alien. 6'5", 240, ran at 4'3", 40. With a 42-inch vertical. Nobody could stop Megatron in his prime. Calvin got drafted in 2007 and made an immediate impact. His 2nd year, his stats were 78 catches, 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. Granted, Calvin was better in his prime in the 2010s, but I had to mention him because his 2nd year he went off. And he's one of my personal favorites, Calvin Johnson. The 2000s had it all. Route runners, deep threats, and unforgettable moments. The numbers don't lie. No other decade combined talent, longevity, and impact like the 2000s. The 2000s receivers set the tone for today's game. Big personality, big plays, and bigger stats. Many of them redefined what it meant to be a true receiver one. Do you agree? Was the 2000s the best receiver era? Or was it the 2010s? Was it the 90s? 2020s? Comment down. Please let me know what you guys think. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. And if you're not subscribed already or you're new, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Peace.